welcome back to the Jack and Glen channel. I'm Jackie.
And I'm her husband, Glen.
He's my husband, Glen.
Hey, before we get started, make sure you hit that subscribe button. Make sure you hit that bell notification so you don't miss any of our reviews.
And if you like listening to audiobooks, make sure you click the link in the description for a free 30-day trial with Audible. And while you're online shopping, go ahead and use that Rakuten link and get a $10 credit.
Hey, ready for Married at First Sight?
Yes.
Married at First Sight. We're excited.
Yes.
So let's get started.
Some interesting developments.
Some very interesting developments. And Dr. V shows up this week.
Yes.
We get to see Dr. V, so that means you're talking about love, sex, and intimacy with Dr. V.
And so with Clara and Ryan, let's just jump in with them. We start with them already doing the fishbowl exercise.
Yeah.
With questions that they have to answer.
And Ryan looks nervous.
Oh my gosh, does he? Because, let's see, so the first question is, what's something that would make intimacy harder for you? Intimacy that they kind of like not have, like they're not having sex.
But they're doing everything else besides sex.
Yeah, but his thing is, he says, what would make intimacy harder for him is not being able to trust and not being comfortable.
Well,
he wants to be comfortable.
But he's already not comfortable. He really doesn't trust her. He trusts her to, he trusts her enough to yank him off.
Wait, we ain't say that.
I'm sorry. I can't. I'm gonna get there in a minute. He trusts her enough to do other things besides have sex with her. Sorry.
Right. And Clara says, they're going slow. She's moving at his pace. She's moving at his pace, and she says she realizes that patience is not her forte.
Not at all.
She's having a hard time being patient. And so the next question is...
Well, hold on. Before that, it's a hard time being patient, not in the sense of other areas in a relationship.
Right, just when it comes to sex.
Just when it comes to sex. And we'll get with her in a minute why she's becoming...
Oh, my gosh.
Impatient with sex. Because I think I said in a couple of interviews, she past shows that she equates sex with love. But we'll get there.
Anyway, so the question was, how would she like to initiate romance? All right, and she was like, just do it.
Just do it. Which goes in, again,
we'll get to that. Just do it. Okay, how could we make our sex life better? Again, she says, can we just have it? He said, just have it. They talk about what's your favorite position. Which this question, I was like, bruh. I told y'all before I was feeling virgin vibes. I was like, really? And so Ryan was like, I'll just take it as it is, as it comes, normal, like medium. I never
met a guy. A person.
Male or female.
High school kids don't even do that.
No, they don't.
High school kids, if they're not even sexually active, they will lie and say, I like this position or that position.
And we were like, even basic, like me on top, her on top, doggy style. You know what I'm saying?
What?
Somebody you say something.
He didn't say anything.
Nothing. It was like,
He did not say one thing at all. He could have said very basically, you know what, I like you on top. It could have been very simple. He didn't have to get graphic even because he's on TV.
Yeah.
But it could have been very simple. He said nothing. Again, I don't know too many guys or people who have been sexually active that don't have something or a place or a position that they like and that are not open about talking about it.
I know.
Well, some people are not open about talking about it, but still, I don't know too many people. He didn't say anything.
I never seen it.
So I had to give you kudos on that because I really wasn't feeling your virgin vibe thing that you said. But after that, I was like, you know what, you was right. I think he is or he's very limited in the sex area, and which is nothing wrong with that. Let me get it clear.
Oh yeah, because I don't know. I feel like some of y'all got the impression that we were saying that it wasn't okay. We are fine with the pace Ryan's taking it. You know what I'm saying?
But but
it's just like
married, dog.
it's not matching up it's not matching up. Something is missing there.
Something is off.
And like we said, it's fine if he wants to take his time and get to know her and build some trust and get some commitment and get some romance before he goes there. That is fine.
But he still should have been able to answer that question.
Absolutely.
If he had that sex. I don't care if it with her or not. He should have been able to answer that question. Again, with Ryan, I really think because of his church upbringing and his parents, I don't know how strict they were. We never really got into that. But I do believe his parents were probably strict in that the sex life, he started late when it came to sex life. There's nothing wrong with starting late. But again, that he wasn't exposed to a lot of things. And he has not been exposed to a lot of things as he's been growing up, and that now is affecting his marriage because he wants true commitment. And again, has he had sex? Because how many relationships? Maybe I forgot. Has he been in a long-term committed relationship?
I thought he said he had. Yes.
So then that might be the only person. If he's still like this way, that might be the only person he's had sex with. Because if you feel that you gotta have trust and commitment, and he's only been in one long-term relationship. To me, just being deductive reasoning, that's probably the only person he's had sex with, because the other relationships have not been long-term or committed, which is okay. But again, I would Claire on this, communicate that to her, because when Dr. V brought it up,
we're going to get to that. Come on, you jumping ahead.
Shutting me down.
Because you're jumping ahead, because we want to get into that. We want to do that. But let me finish this. So she asked Ryan, so what if I whip out some wild position, and do that? And he's like, well, I mean, that's your life, if that's what you want to bring to it.
That's your life. Most dudes be like, whatever you want. Where you want to go? Like, let's rock.
They did real quick. The last question they had was, what's the toughest experience you had to overcome? And for her, she said it was the realization of how unhappy she was in her last relationship, and to actually get out of it. She basically said, she was settling in it. And then she realized that she wasn't stuck, that she didn't have to be in it. And she said it was the most difficult but the best decision she had to make. And the one thing that Clara said that kind of gave us a preview of her conversation with Dr. Viv was, she said she was in this relationship for 3 years. And she said she barely had sex with him. She said she might have had it like 3 times a year.
3 times a year. So a total of 9 times. And
so her fear is, because Ryan is going so slow. Oh, and let me say this. Her thing was, he didn't want me sexually. She felt like she wasn't wanted, period.
Yeah.
Like she wasn't desirable. And so her fear is that with the pace that Ryan is going, that she's on that track again. And she doesn't want to be in that track. Again, a preview of her conversation with Dr. Viv, as you were saying, she equates sex with love and being wanted.
Yeah. And we talked about this. Can I jump ahead now about Claire? We talked about this. Claire seems like as if something has happened in her life.
Oh, you're not supposed to go there.
I want to go there. While you talking about, we get there because it all goes together. Something has happened in her life where she has to be able to equate the sex with love. Whether it's that she might have been molested when she was little, I'm not saying that's the case, but if something has happened in her life or transpired in her life that sex equals love, and she wants to have it all the time. And so there's an issue there that she has to deal with and recognize that the sex doesn't equal love. And everybody that's with you is not always going to always be on top of you. And it may be just her love language is sex. But again, there has to be a balance in that in order for her and Ryan to be able to continue to have a successful marriage.
Well, as we get into it, because I want to differ on that, even that sex equals love. I want to differ on that. So we're gonna get to that. But Dr. Viv pays them a visit. And so the one thing I can say with Clara and Ryan, and the only other couple I really saw was like Brianna and Vincent started off close.
Right.
With Dr. Viv's visit, sitting on the couch. Clara and Ryan sat close.
Holding
hands, arm around shoulder. Yeah. And Dr. Viv, she says to each of the couple, we're privy to what's going on. We see, but I want to ask you. So she said, what's going awesome in a relationship? And both of them basically say, that it's been real easy and it's been natural. And the one struggle that Clara shared was that they're not on the same page physically.
Mm-hmm.
Dr. Viv's like, well, are you not both affectionate? No, we're both affectionate.
Oh, yeah.
It's just that Clara's more sexual than Ryan. Mm-hmm. And, go ahead. What are you about to say?
No, she just has a sex drive. She's more experienced.
Yeah.
She's more experienced, and she has a higher sex drive than he does.
And maybe not necessarily in a good way as we get to the conversation with Dr. Viv some more. So he said it's well, I think this is Dr. Viv's words. Or him, I can't remember. But it's important for him to build a foundation. Ryan said it, matter of fact. It's important for him to build a foundation in a relationship, not just on the physical. He wants to know how he can meet her needs.
Buy donuts.
He said it's not a hard no to the sex, but he was like, it's only been 3 weeks. They haven't had time to build the foundation that he would like.
I cry BS. You're doing everything else except for the intercourse. What you mean you don't have time to build to the sex? You have time for all this other stuff. And you telling me in all this other stuff, which again, are you doing this with your shirt on because she's never seen your chest? So it's just hold it. You're doing all this other stuff, and you telling me it does not lead to bed?
Well,
and you stop there?
Dr. Viv says that. She says, so okay, explain this to me. So have there been times when it's been hot and heavy and that it stopped and what would have come naturally didn't? And Claire's like, yeah. Who's the one pressing the brakes? Ryan's the one pressing the brakes. So they get to that point. They're doing everything, like you said, to get to that point. Everything but penetration. Lord have mercy. Everything except penetration. And Ryan's like, no.
Maybe he know his stuff is trash.
No, I don't think that's what it is.
Maybe he know he ain't good in the sheets.
But we getting to that.
But he lacks confidence.
Well, this is what I tend to think. I told you I was getting virgin vibes from Ryan. This is the other thing I think too, because let's just go. Dr. Viv asked to talk to Clara separately.
Yeah.
Before that, Ryan is building his case about building his foundation. And Dr. Viv is like, well, how do you know when you're going to get there? Give us a percentage. How do you know? I don't know. I just know. Well, you have to give her, and while we're talking, give me an idea. Outside of this conversation, give Clara an idea. How close are we to getting to this point? I'm trying to gauge. I want to know. Don't leave me out in the dark.
She's feeling you. You need to be feeling her.
Clara said she don't want to pressure him or put a time frame on it. But where are we going with this? Because she don't, and I understand where she's coming from. She don't want to be 3 years in and still be like, well, dang. Okay. I'm still not good. I'm still not good enough.
She don't want to be 6 months in and be.
I'm still not good enough. Mm-hmm. Now that's not fair. To have somebody feeling like they're not good enough, because basically that's what you're saying. If we can't get to that point, you're saying I'm not a good enough person. You don't care for me enough to get to that point.
So can we call Ryan the male Iris?
Yes. Oh, and that's what I was going to say about Ryan. She said Dr. Viv, in a conversation with Dr. Viv, when she pulls Clara aside, Dr. Viv said it. Do you think he might be a virgin, like he hasn't been completely honest about his sexual exploits, for lack of a better word?
I think Dr. Viv has some information, because I feel on this questionnaire that they fill out, that's one of the questions.
Oh, I'm sure it is.
And I'm sure she pulled back, I can't remember who else questionnaire she pulled up. She pulled up Hayley's. So I'm sure she probably pulled up Ryan's and this is the issue.
I think.
She's not going to spill the beans or say anything, but I think he's a virgin. I think, and nothing wrong with that. But again, I think
or the other side is, because Clara says, well, I don't think he would lie about that. He told me he has had sex before. So maybe this is the case. Ryan has only had sex with one person and maybe only had sex with them twice.
Possibility.
So it's not virgin necessarily. I have had sex before, but I'm very inexperienced.
Very novice.
Very inexperienced. Maybe that's it. And maybe that's why he can't say what his favorite sexual position is, because we only did it one way. We only did it missionary.
But that should be okay though.
It's very fine.
That is very fine. It's okay if that's what you're gonna do.
But say that.
But say that, yeah. And say that, and allow that to be a part of your conversation with your wife, knowing that she has a high sex drive. Look, I'm not as experienced as you. Help me out. All right, and there's nothing wrong with a man to say that. That doesn't diminish who you are. If y'all especially private, this is your wife. Communicate with that. I'm not experienced in this area. Please teach me to show me what you like. And you can do it so many ways to keep your masculinity. You know, what is that you like? I don't want to compare you to other people that I've been through or been with, right?
I've been through.
I don't want to say been through. Excuse me. Been with. Be respectful here on YouTube. The other people that I've been with.
Right.
Can you please tell me what do you like sexually, and how would you like me to please you?
Yeah. Dr. Viv says, could it be that Ryan has sex placed on this very high pedestal and you don't? Claire's like, I don't. And she proceeds to tell Dr. Viv that I've never thought about him being a virgin, but I've also not ever connected emotions
with sex. Which means to
and feelings
with sex. Again, this is a sign of somebody who's been abused. Or been just having sex. I'm just having sex. Sex is an emotional connection. It's an emotional thing. It is pleasurable, but in the person that you're having it with, you want to be connected to. When you've been hurt and when you've been abused and when things have happened to you and you don't have that connection with you don't have that emotion with sex. It's just something that's done. You know, we used the example a couple weeks ago about Color Purple. The scene in Color Purple when Mr. was on top. There was no emotion. He was just doing what he did, and Celie had no emotion or connection to what Mr. was doing. And when Clara said that, the first thing that came to my mind was she might have been abused and not say anything. Something has happened where she can't equate emotion to sex because she's never felt the emotion when somebody had sex with her.
It's just the act. And I was saddened by that. I'm like, because you think about, so the first time you had sex, like it was just, we just did it. An old preacher we know, he said, man, you got to pet and rub the horse before you ride it.
Before you ride it.
So, whoever it was, like you said, Mr. and Celie just hopped on top of the horse
and did the business, and she'd never connected.
And it had to be more than one time.
And so she's been affected emotionally by this, and now she's struggling in any area of her relationship with this, and that's why she's equating sex with love.
Or not even love, it's just the act. That's what I'm saying. That's why I would say, I wouldn't even say she equates it with love. She equates it with being wanted.
Being wanted.
And just the fulfilling bodily desire, a sexual desire.
Yeah.
But she doesn't see the connection. Because Dr. Viv says, you know, do you feel like sex can have a sacred place in your marriage? And she said, I don't have any experience with sex meaning anything other than sex.
Other than sex.
And it almost sounds like she don't even sound like it being pleasurable. It's like it's just
something I go through. We
do it because you're supposed to do it. When you're in a relationship, you're supposed to have sex. Probably no kissing, no hugging, no like. Good God, I felt so bad for her. But we really talked about that. We was like, it sounds like, because we know people that have been sexually abused, and like for them, it's like that's what it is. It's just an act.
It's just an act. So
I don't like this person. I don't love this person.
It's just something I do. So hopefully it's not the case, but it seemed like she needs to get some help in that area so her and Ryan's relationship could flourish.
It's very sad.
Very sad.
Very sad to me. So let's go to another sad.
We might as well stay sad while we on sad, right?
Yeah, Hayley and Jacob. Okay, so they have their questions. And this is I don't know if you do it out of order, but it's before Dr. Viv visits, but it's questions that Dr. Viv would give.
Yeah.
So I don't know if she said something earlier, but the question was, how can we make our sex life better? And Jacob says, well, when it exists, it could be better. And ha.
Yo, he's petty, but I like his pettiness.
Yeah,
he be throwing shade. I like his shade. He like, yo, if we had a sex life, like, come on, dog. We only had it once. And we'll get to that too, sorry.
And so Dr. Viv visits them and she says, okay, what's the state of your marriage today? And Hayley's like, we've had our ups and downs, but we've had a chance to reset, and now we've been communicating. Dr. V was like, now you've been communicating? What you mean?
And she went on, we go on a cycle. 2 days we talk, 2 days we don't. 2 days we get along, 2 days we won't. So they've been on a roller coaster in their relationship. So they haven't really had consistency with communicating.
Yeah,
in these 21 days, in these 3 weeks.
Yeah, they've been having arguments, she said, and most of the arguments are due to miscommunication. Somebody not saying anything. He mentioned the fact that he mentioned the time that she went to see Paige.
Yes.
And she was gone for a long time. And they even went into it right there in front of Dr. Viv. Was like, I did tell you. And no, actually you didn't. But I did though. No, he didn't. It wasn't
a long time that she stayed at Paige's. And that she had told him that she was going to stay at Paige.
And he said that you didn't tell me. And she said she went back to check her text messages like, yeah, I did tell him.
And he finally remembered that she did tell him. So
But then he was like, still not really.
Still not really. So again, and Dr. Viv was like, those text messages, that's when the communication need to come in.
Mm-hmm.
If we learned again, same old preacher. Man, this old preacher was wise. If you don't get a response back, communication is not done.
Mm-hmm.
So if I call and leave a message on your voicemail, you don't call me back, the communication is not complete.
Right.
If I text you and you don't text me back, communication is not complete. Even if your iPhone says delivered, LC, and they don't say anything back, it's really not complete because there was no communication back and forth.
Right.
And that's the issue with Hayley and Jacob. One's communicating, but the other one's not reciprocating the communication back and forth. So there's things getting missing. And again, Jacob, in this case, being petty, and Clara, and Hayley is just being selfish.
Mm-hmm.
Because Dr. Viv said it too. You're still acting as if you're still in a single relationship.
Yeah, that's what she said. You have to think about this and realize that it's being single and acting single versus being married.
Yep.
And she errs on the side when it comes to communication and even texting. I err on the side of too much rather than not enough.
Mm-hmm.
She said, I'd rather somebody say, look, you texting me too much and communicating too much as opposed to not enough, because them people can fabricate and make it. And I think that's what Lauren told her too. When you don't say something, people can form their own opinions and draw conclusions whatever kind of way they want to. And that's what Jacob's going to do. You got to communicate with them.
Especially when you're already feeling some type of way.
Yeah.
I mean, because, again, think about it. After Vegas, he's already felt some type of way.
Yes.
After Vegas, in 3 weeks, he hasn't gotten over the Vegas situation. Mm-hmm. And it came like it keep compounding and compounding. And again, him being sexually frustrated, and this is how he's expressing it and showing it to her, because he's frustrated sexually. He's just frustrated the fact that she don't think he's physically attractive.
Mm-hmm.
He's just frustrated.
Yeah.
They don't think the communication where it's supposed to be at. And on top of that, he's 38, and he believes this is his last chance to be married and have kids.
Yeah. And so Dr. Viv was like, it looks like y'all gotten into a really good friend zone,
mm-hmm.
and that is not where you want to be. And so she says, was there any time when you actually felt connected? He was like, yeah, like in the first 3 to 4 days we were good. Dr. Viv says, is that when y'all had sex?
And he looked like.
And I laughed. I was like, that answers the question.
That answers the question. Again, goes back to the statement we've all been making. She thought the sex was trash.
Or no,
she didn't like it.
Yeah, but they get into that too. It was like, basically she did have sex with him and she was drunk, but also she said this before. I figure we're married. This was supposed to happen when you're married. Almost a little bit of Mr. and Silly. This is my duty. So, I went ahead and did it. But it probably was trash.
And she didn't feel comfortable doing it.
Yeah, he was like, we didn't really talk after that.
Yeah, when they talked after, she did it just to do it. And again, a lot of alcohol had to play in that. The fact that she thought she was married. Again, she said she wasn't attracted to him.
Mm-hmm.
Again, she did the same thing Chris did. I'm not giving her a pass.
Mm-hmm.
She doesn't get a pass from me. Because if we talked about Chris having sex with Paige just so he could be attracted to her, Hayley had sex with Jacob to see if she could be attracted to him.
Mm-hmm.
And it didn't work out.
No.
So she doesn't get a pass from me. She wrong.
Yeah.
Just like Chris was wrong, she's wrong.
Yeah.
So Hayley did the same thing.
Don't do that.
Same thing that Chris did.
But Hayley's thing was, she says, and I've held everything in about how I feel about it because I haven't wanted to hurt his feelings. But she says, Dr. Viv was like, well, what is it that's not clicking or whatever. Well, she said the 80s stuff did kind of freak her out, but since then he's done like everything that she's asked. Like, you know, whatever changes, he's been flexible. He's been, you know, and she even said at one point that she felt like I was doing everything. What? Are you kidding me? That man is making all kinds of changes.
That man
for you. Everything that you're doing is giving him stuff to do. That
man even got rid of his dogs. Have you noticed? You have not seen the 4 dogs since the episode.
No.
You've seen her dog.
Yeah.
But you have not seen his.
Yeah.
I guarantee that he got rid of his dog. Not got rid of his dog, but
somebody probably watching.
Somebody's watching his dogs. He's done everything.
Yeah.
That he's asked her, and she still doesn't give him enough respect. Doesn't communicate with him. I'm not saying that she has to think he's physically attractive, but she has to be able to say, you know what, Jacob, I see you working. I see the progress. Let's communicate a little bit more. Let me open up now. Let me start trusting you a little bit more because I see the process. He started wearing her clothes, the clothes that she got him. He started toning down on the 80s stuff. He started doing everything, and yet he doesn't get any credit. Man, that's a bad place to be when you're a guy and you're changing and you're conforming to what your wife wants you to be, and not in a bad way. Not that you're losing yourself,
right?
But that you're just adapting because you're bringing somebody else into the relationship. And you don't even get a good job or kudos, a pat on the back. Because there's a misconception that men don't like that stuff. But men do like some affirmation every once in a while. That you're doing a good job. You know, husband, I see you changing. By the way, thank you for opening the door for me. By the way, thank you for putting on a shirt that I paid for. You know what I'm saying? All that type of stuff. Men like that stuff.
Yeah. And Hayley's frustrated because she says, I connect with people so easily. But she also acknowledged that she was the type that Dr. Viv pointed that out to her. Just jump to that since she's talking. Dr. Viv says in her application, her stuff from the beginning, it asks, are you picky? And she said, yes, I'm picky. And I tend to be so picky that I, eliminate somebody and, before I can give them a chance. And Dr. Viv said, well, what was the difference from then to now? When she felt like she could get over it, she said the difference is, initially I was attracted to those guys and I could not be as picky, or move past it, because what she says, Dr. Viv asks, is there physical attraction? And Hayley says, when I first walked down the aisle, I was kind of middle of the road as far as, is he cute, is he not, do I like the way he looks, I don't know. And she says that getting to know each other was doing most of the work. And it still hasn't been attractive to him. God dog, girl.
But she, again, Dr. Viv, to jump forward, Dr. Viv brings up, y'all not even sleeping in the same room.
No. She said y'all are both lost.
You're lost. You're not even sleeping in a room. How can you have that physical attraction or that communication if you have busy schedules, right? But you're both home together at night, you could at least have the conversation in bed. Have the conversation and communicate in bed. You're apart. So there will be no intimacy. There will be no connection. Again, you're apart from each other. How do you expect sparks to fly if you have nothing that can rub each other to get together? You can't do it. Sparks are not going to fly. So therefore, Dr. Viv was like, look, I need y'all to come in here. This is what I want you to do. She gave them an assignment. The assignment is I want you to kiss each other before you go to bed at night and to wake up in the morning. And Hayley was like, I'll try.
It'll be uncomfortable at first.
It's uncomfortable at first. Like, you ain't never kissed anybody? This is your husband. This is where I call BS again. You kissed him on the wedding day. So is the kissing trash too? You kissed him within let's say 20 or 30 minutes of knowing him.
She's checked out. She is checked out.
She's done.
She's checked
out. If
this
marriage makes it to 8 weeks, I'll be surprised.
Yeah, she's checked out.
She's done.
We were surprised that they weren't sleeping in the same bed, which I don't understand. I mean, you did it the whole honeymoon, however many days that was, just to come home and not sleep in the same bed. That probably stemmed from they came home mad at each other. But still, yeah.
If you reconcile and you hit the reset button, you should at least can't say that because Chris and Paige not even living together.
Yeah, but when Hayley has her conversation with Dr. Viv again, where she pulls up her questionnaire and talk about her picky, Hayley talks about the fact that she wants someone to compliment her lifestyle, and that he's changing, but she questions how much how much does he have to change?
Right.
And you're right. How much does he have to change for you to be happy with it? Because basically what she's saying is how much does he have to change? And I hate for him to do all this changing and it's still not making me be attracted to him.
Which I don't understand. Again, I use Jamie, Otis, and Doug. It may not be the physical attraction. There's something. There's some qualities that you have to like about Jake.
She better start liking them biceps, them triceps, them pecs.
Not even
because homeboy got a body.
But homeboy also, he has his own home. He's creative.
He is.
He's creative. He loves animals. Y'all have that in common. So you got to trust here comes with the trust of the experts. You got to trust the experts that they put you together for a reason. There's something there that makes you guys connected. And you got to find out what it is. But if you never communicate with him, you never talk to him, you never deal with him, guess what? You're not going to find that.
Yeah, and the last thing we see with Hayley and Jacob, so Jacob's all in on the assignment.
All in.
They get in the bed together. And he was like, you know, maybe we can get a good night kiss. And she's like, Well, he said, since I brushed my teeth.
He's doing levity
Can I get a good night kiss? And she's like, And so when they get in the bed, they put the dogs to bed. And we did see it was more than one dog.
Yeah, more than one dog.
But they put the dogs to bed and they get in the bed together. And they talk about what's your sleep environment. Do you like it cold? Do you like sheets? Do you like this?
Which again goes to the point. They have not slept with each other since Vegas. It's like you're asking these questions like, dog, I don't know. You go to the other room. Yeah,
do you want TV on or off? I feel like you should know that.
This is week 1 question. This is day 1 question. This is day 2 questions. This is after the honeymoon question. This is the night that you stay up at your honeymoon and you ask those type of questions. Because y'all slept in the bed together the honeymoon night because you had sex with him. So you must have drunk that you didn't even realize what he likes to hide, that he likes to hide a cold. You know?
But they slept in the bed together more than just that.
I understand.
I know they slept in the bed together the whole time. Come on.
They did, but again, these are questions. You don't just ask these questions. This is longer than... You're 3 weeks in.
Anyway,
again, you have 8 weeks.
Yeah, I'm about done with them. The only thing I want to say is that...
I'm done with her.
You know, he was like... Yeah, I'm done with her.
I'm done with her.
He asked about the good night kiss. And then he asked, you know, can we do some spooning? Like Dr. Viv told you to do this. It's going to be uncomfortable because you could at least try. She didn't want to give him a good night kiss and she didn't want to spoon. He was looking like, you know, come on. And she's like, no,
He went to bed mad.
Bye, Hayley.
Karen.
Bye, his top. No.
Oh,
bye, Hayley. Bye, Hayley. All right. So, let's talk about
Brianna Vincent.
Brianna Vincent? Okay.
Let's get them.
All right. So, Dr. Viv comes to visit them. And she says, again, we're privy to the information that's going on. You know, we obviously have contact with y'all before this.
Right.
But she says, from everything I've heard, y'all been good and, you know, everything's flowing.
But you got a couple bumps in the road.
Yeah. And, you know, how you been feeling about it and what you like about it. And Vince is like, you know, I wanted someone that was silly and goofy and we got that or whatever. And Dr. Viv says, yeah. But y'all ain't hitting that spot all the time. You say you want somebody silly and goofy, but you missing it when she's throwing it.
You ain't catching it, dog.
And so they talk about the Rihanna's "That's So Vinny" comment. And knowing that was a joke, you know, and he took it the wrong way.
Yeah, oh, did he take it?
You know, you want somebody silly and goofy, but when she threw that in, you got offended.
Got mad. He ain't get offended. He got hot.
Yeah, he was mad. And so...
He went to the parking lot.
Yeah, Dr. Viv suggests that in a moment like that, where she may mean it one way, and you may take it another, because Brianna said, I did not know he was going to take it like that. I didn't know. Dr. Viv suggests stop in that moment and talk about, hey, I feel some type of way when you tell me that's so Vinny of me. Like, I feel some type of way. You know, I don't like it. But, and the one thing he said that I think we talked about it, but we definitely talked about it on our U.S. task force for Married at First Sight, is Vincent says, I don't want her to feel like she has to walk on eggshells for me.
Yeah. I
don't want her to feel that way.
Which I think was good for him.
Yeah,
for him to recognize that and for him to say, you know what, this is not what I want in my marriage.
Right.
So now let me do what I can to fix it and to help it out. This is all we want. We want the experts to come in and help them fix some of the issues or realize that there's an issue. And I'm glad Vincent was transparent enough to be able to say, I don't want Brianna to walk on eggshells. I want to be the husband. And Dr. Viv picked up, I know what it is. You just want to impress her.
Yeah.
You want to impress her. You want everything to go right. You want everything to flow. You don't want to let her down. You don't want to fail her. Again, as I mentioned on our U.S. Task Force, which you can watch every Sunday at 7 p.m. on Little Black Books channel. But you don't want to let her down.
Yeah.
You want to be perfect in everything that you do. We talked about that, being perfectionist.
Yeah, because of course they bring up the dance lesson, and he said he felt bad because he didn't do well. He wanted to look good for her.
The salsa wasn't his thing.
He's put on salsa wasn't his thing. He mentioned he put on a little bit of weight. His shirt was a little bit tighter than he liked it, And like Dr. Viv said, this is a pattern for you. You're trying to be smooth. You're trying to impress her. She said, but when life gets in the way, you freak out. And he was like, yeah.
We're smart because I said he cracks on adversity.
And we said he's trying to be a perfectionist.
He's
trying, and he said he realized his behavior was not a good reaction and it wasn't acceptable. And when he came in with a bad attitude because he wasn't feeling confident.
He wasn't feeling comfortable. Dog, change the shirt. Yo, I'm a big dude, right? If I put on a shirt, got a little tight on the no, wait, that shirt ain't going on. Y'all don't know how many shirts I changed before I do this video to make sure the shirt look right. You just don't even understand.
You can't even see the whole shirt.
Right, you can make sure you don't even see the whole shirt. But you feel the confidence and you want to make sure it looks right, so you understand that he does not want to let her down because he doesn't want this to fail.
Yeah.
He doesn't want this to fail. He wants this to be successful and he doesn't know how to handle it. He feel embarrassed. And then embarrassment and the adversity come together and he just spazzes.
And I think the other thing is, this just came to me. I think Vincent needs to realize that I'm not on an audition.
Yeah.
This is not an interview.
This is not a date. We're not dating.
Yeah. This is not like, let me put on, I gotta put on my best. No, at this point, guess what? She needs to see that process is accelerated. Like Dr. Viv said, we're doing stuff because it's an accelerated process and help them accelerate the process. So
yeah,
you let it out. Mm-hmm. You let it out. And so Brianna says, she likes the quirks. And she tells Vincent, don't try to impress me. I like what I'm seeing so far. I like seeing the you. Let us see the real you. I like seeing the you. Just be yourself. And she said, the small things you're doing are impressing me.
Yeah.
The bicicleta, the Spanish words on the board, it's impressing me.
Yeah.
Even the champagne, you pop the champagne, you got it on the floor, but that's impressing me.
Champagne.
And she said, just be yourself. Don't try so hard. And Dr. Viv reminds him, you're not perfect. Stop trying to be perfect. And for Vinny and for y'all listening, you do not have to be perfect in your marriage. You don't have to be a perfect person in your life. There was none perfect except the Lord. We're striving for perfection, but there's none of us that's perfect.
But again,
so stop trying to be perfect. I'm saying it to myself too.
Yeah, but if you love the person, you love the person unconditionally.
Absolutely.
I love the fact that you are a perfectionist because there's some areas in me that I'm not a perfectionist in, so you get me straight. Again, you don't complete each other, but you complement each other.
Yes, absolutely.
And so that's the key thing. In relationships, you complement each other. Where I'm weak at, she can be able to pick me up, and where she's weak at, I can be able to pick her up and encourage. And that's one of the things that you have to do in relationships. And that's one of the things that Vincent has to understand. In this area, Brianna Brianna may look perfect. There's some issues that Brianna has. Mm-hmm. The bossiness and the straightforwardness. And he's kind of helping her with that. She don't understand Spanish, but you see she's learning to pick it up. Why? Because Vincent is doing it for her. Mm-hmm. So you can see the things that she's working on so she can make Vincent comfortable, and Vincent just has to become comfortable within himself.
Yeah. Yeah. So, they get sent to exercise, and it's so they can talk about the big and the small things that might be uncomfortable.
Right.
And so the question was, what's the one thing, if you could change one thing, what would it be? And Brianna went straight practical. If you're a short girl messing with it don't even have to be or dealing with or married to a tall guy or taller than you guy. Mm-hmm. We all have this problem. Especially depending on how your shower is. She said, the shower head, like I'm short, I get in and it's hitting me in the face. And Vincent was like, I was wondering why. Like I get in the shower, I'm like, I gotta fix this. And she was like, look, that's the one thing I would change.
I know somebody that does that.
Is the adjustment of the shower head. Yes.
I do know somebody that. I apologize to you on camera for doing that. That made me, I felt convicted when I heard about that last night. I felt bad. Like, I'm the one that always adjust. You get in and the water just be hitting me.
Because I'm short. I'm short. You gotta understand. So he be like, why you got the shower head? Just like Vincent was like, why is the shower head like this? Cause I don't, and I'm an African American girl.
You want the hair wet? Show them what you're working with.
I don't want the water hit me in my head. Of course, we wearing shower caps, but dang, you know, nobody want water hitting them in the head, and you don't want the water hitting you in your face the whole time. I'm trying to bathe my body. You know what I'm saying? But anyway, from there we see Brianna and Vincent. He has this nice little setup with pillows and some crackers and cheese and stuff, and they're gonna play Truth or Dare.
Production did a great job. He didn't set that up.
I feel like he did, so he did play a part in it.
He played a role in it.
They got him the items, I'm sure.
He played a role. Production did that. But
yeah. And so he was like, we're gonna ask questions that we made up, blindfolded, and answer the questions, and then you gotta eat something. Mm-hmm. You know, you don't know what it is, you know. And so that's your reward if you do the task. And so her thing to him was, I want to pick my nose. What? That was weird. But he stuck his finger in.
That's love.
And ew, you nasty. They laughed about that. You nasty. I didn't think you was gonna do it.
But that's love when you pick somebody. I'm not
but it wasn't for.
It wasn't for love. But he again, it's the simple that she trusted him enough to do it, and guess what? He loved her enough that even though that is maybe disgusting to others, that he was willing to do it. Again, let his walls down, and not feel embarrassed to do it. So again, read between the lines of him picking her nose. Yeah,
he dared her to eat some cheese and whipped cream. That's nasty.
I don't want to try that.
That was nasty.
It's all dairy products.
No, but
it's all dairy products.
He asked her.
And they go in the same place.
He asked her for him, what's one thing I would change about myself? And she answered, your head. He was like, but like just my head, or be specific. She was like, one thing you would change is your hair. And he's like, yeah, you got it right. Mm-hmm. So these questions they made up is to see what the other knew about the other. And Brianna and Vincent, they have gone, you know, pretty far about, you know, what I like, what I don't like. They've been doing a good job about that.
But again, communication reminds me of Woody and Amani. Remember how they got them to get married? They got together and they sit and they talked about everything within the first 3 or 4 days. They talked. You know, so they had that communication. When you have that communication there, it works volumes for your marriage. Yeah,
the one thing they both talked about was the craziest thing that he's done was Married at First Sight.
Married at First Sight.
And she kind of agreed the same thing. And so they gave each other a whipped cream kiss. I think she actually spit the whipped cream in his mouth. At first she wasn't, and then it changed. So next, where are we going to? We always leave Chris and Paige for last. We want to leave Virginia and Eric last.
Let's leave Virginia and Eric for last. You ignore me by the way.
I am. Because that has nothing to do with them.
The whipped cream kisses?
No.
He
be getting out of control. Ever since Woody and Amani's season, this joke has been out of control.
Caramel kisses?
No. Goodbye. Next, Chris and Paige. We're on day 24.
Day 24.
And Paige says the last time she saw Chris, they agreed to go back to square one, to be cordial and be amicable. And since then, she has got nothing from him.
I'm going to apologize to Paige. Because in my last review, I said Paige slept with him that night. Paige, I apologize.
He did.
It seemed like you didn't sleep with Chris.
No, he did. She did.
I'm apologizing to Paige. She didn't sleep with him.
Yeah, no, she didn't. She said she hasn't heard from him. She's called him. His phone is going to voicemail.
He's with Mercedes.
Not getting no text. I mean, we pretty much found out that's what it was.
Yeah.
And so she says Dr. Viv's in Atlanta, and so she told Chris that she wanted them to meet her, and she hopes he shows up.
Again, a meeting with an expert, and you're hoping this dude shows up.
Because this is the thing, even if we're not together, we should still meet with the experts.
To try to work on it.
Or whatever we're going to do.
But why hit a
for the rest of the...
But why hit a reset if you're not going to work on being with me?
Reset.
And actually reset.
Yeah.
Just start over. If you were gonna hit, we're gonna hit a reset, and he initiated a reset.
Yeah.
So if you initiated a reset and I accepted a reset, why are you still with your baby mama and y'all spending more time with her than you spending with me? You should be trying to work on this relationship. And I'm not. You should try to work on this relationship because we hit a reset.
Yeah.
I'm not telling you that you have to live with me, but you should answer my phone calls and my text messages. It shouldn't be me having to say, "Yo, Dr. V's coming. Let's meet up." That doesn't say reset to me.
Yeah, and that's the only matter of fact. That's the only text you answered.
That's the only text you answered. That doesn't say reset to me.
Anyway, so he did show up. And he comes in the door like, "What's up, yo?"
What's up, yo?
And gives it this. They give each other this weak hug.
No emotion whatsoever.
And he says he doesn't have any expectations of what might happen. I don't know what to expect. He says it thinks it'll be good for them to revisit the reset conversation. And he said he's paused on thoughts of divorce for now. That's what he said. Anyway, so. So while he's there, they're sitting on the couch.
No, I can't let that go. I can't. I was gonna let it go. I can't let it go. You're not thinking about divorce now, but you're not doing anything to stay together.
Yes, and so with that, they're sitting on the couch awkwardly.
He's off. You be awkward too. You coming into her apartment or the house.
No, but you should say something. You should say something. Like they just sat there, and thankfully, I don't know how much time transpired, but thankfully, a knock came at the door. Dr. Viv came pretty soon, and the funny part was a knock at the door, and they look at each other. He was like, "This is your house, yo. Get the door." What?
This is your house, yo.
Supposed to be both of our place.
But no, but she lived in one. He never moved in there.
Yeah, it's supposed to be both of our place.
Like, get the door, yo. He want to be respectful. That's his way of being respectful. I'm not gonna answer your door. Because it's your house. Again, hold on. It will be both of their house, but he's like, I'm not going to answer your door, yo.
I know. I know.
Yo, again, if we can't even reset, we can't even conversate.
Converse, excuse
me. We can't even converse. He never starts a conversation.
We're going to see that again, too. Let's go. Let's go. So Dr. Viv comes in and she says, we got a lot to talk about. Well, I'm privy to everything that's going on. Do you see room for improvement, help, or hope? She asked them, do you see room for improvement? And, she says, Dr. Viv says, you're a different person. It's a different person than I'm seeing now than when we first met you. What is going on? And he gives some lame-o reasoning. He was like, well, at the wedding, I was, pre-wedding, I was 1992, Chris. And post-wedding, I'm like in a depressive state, with the pregnancy thing and everything. I'm torn about what's wrong and what's right. I just don't know. I don't understand. And Paige says, I'm reliving this nightmare over and over again.
Chris smokes.
And this is not what I anticipated.
In 92, I'm going to say Chris about 30. So again, and he said I was a 92 Chris. You were a child. You're still a child.
I guess that's what he was saying.
And
I came into a child like.
Yeah, he came into a child.
But afterwards, I'm a man. Not.
But he came as a child, so it is. He acted as a child.
Yeah. Paige said, I came into this wanting to start a family and get a husband, and she's like, now that's secondary. These other issues have pushed those desires that I have to the back. And she said, Dr. Viv said, so why stay? Why are you staying, Paige?
It's $1 million question.
Why are you staying? And, she was like, I feel like I want to be the woman God intended me to be, and that's a supportive wife, and that's why I'm sticking in here. Yes, God does want you to be a supportive and a stick-in-there wife with somebody that's worth it.
Not somebody who doesn't want to support you back.
Where it's reciprocal.
With somebody that has your back.
Paige says she just wants what she wants is very simple. I want basic contact with some calls, maybe some FaceTime. Dr. Viv says, and how frequently? Let's put some boundaries.
Put some measurements on that thing.
And she says at least once a day. She don't want to talk to him or FaceTime this joker that she's married once a day.
Hold on.
And here he goes.
Stay there. You're begging to FaceTime a person who should be living with you, but he's living with somebody else or living by himself, and he's not even with you, and you're begging him to FaceTime you, but you still want to be a supportive wife. At this point, guess what? Cut your ties, because there's no reset. You hit the reset button, but the Nintendo wasn't on.
Cut your losses.
You hit the reset button and Xbox wasn't even plugged up. You hit a reset button and ain't nothing happened. Guess what? Cut. And I like Dr. Vivian, like, yo, why stick around? Why are you even here? Mm-hmm. Again, goes back to the expert said. We've been giving Paige advice. We've been telling Paige what to do, but she's not following it. So I'm going to put, this is where Dr. Vivian's smart. I'm going to put it on camera so people can see that we did our due diligence with Paige. And she said she wanted to stay. We're not making her stay. She's saying that she want to stay. Mm-hmm. So all you out there who thought the experts wasn't doing their stuff, this is Paige telling you she want to be a supportive wife. That she said, I took my vows seriously. Mm-hmm. That's what she said. Mm-hmm. I took my vows seriously. Again, you took your vows seriously. He didn't. You can't be married to yourself.
Yeah.
It takes two to tango. How can two walk together except they what?
Agree. Chris says, when asked, what do you want from Paige? She was like, I just don't want to feel pressured. I don't want it to feel forced. And Dr. Viv says, she only want to talk to you once a day, bruh. This is the least forced scenario that I've ever seen. Like, she only wants to talk to you once. And you are not giving even 100% effort for that minimum, for the bare minimum. Like, bro, y'all need to have a conversation.
He's telling her again, I'm not attracted to you. I don't want you. If it wasn't for this TV show, I would not be.
But even worse, to that, he says that. He says, I'm passionate about things I'm 100% about.
And he's not 100% about her.
And I don't feel like my heart is in this, is 100% in this.
Again, he's telling her. How many more ways do he have to tell you he does not want you?
She's frustrated. He says, but then
I'm frustrated. I'm not even married to him.
Here's the weird part. You don't want to call or FaceTime once a day. That's like nobody does that when you dating. Maybe when you first start talking to somebody, but no. One time, that's all she wants. The least contact anybody could ever want. And this joker comes and says, well, what does he want? He said, I'm comfortable with hanging out, going to dinner, and conversations in person, and then moving to making phone calls. God no, how we gonna go out?
I can't reach
hang
you.
Out, go to dinner.
And you don't answer my text.
Except we call each other.
And you don't answer my text. We don't live together. And I got it. He want her to send a smoke signal. No. He want her to send a pigeon to drop off a message at his house.
He's a weirdo.
No. He wants her to reach him on Facebook and Instagram where he spends a lot of his time at.
He's a weirdo. Who does that? Who wants to hang out, go to dinner with somebody that you don't even talk to before? Again, even in this way, it's not sexual, but you got to pet the horse before you ride it. Before I go to some awkward dinner with you so we can sit across the table and just look at each other, which they do later, we need to have some conversation. He said it's sad. I know it's sad because it's just so confusing. Bro, he's double-minded. I wonder, is Chris on meds? Have you not been taking your meds? Bruh, something is wrong with this dude. What is wrong with you?
He doesn't.
He irritates me bad.
He's not interested, so he's not putting. I think Chris is a very smart, intelligent guy. I do. I think Chris has business sense. But again, Chris knows how to shut down when it doesn't work for him, when he's not interested in it. So he's not interested in this. So he's not giving. Again, he said, I'm not going to give my time, my effort, or my energy to this because guess what? I don't see this going anywhere. So guess what? I'm gonna spend all my time and energy to what I want to spend my time and energy with, and it's not you. It's not this show. It's not what I signed up for. It's not none of this. So guess what? I am going to go through the motions and give you the bare minimum. And again, he's not dumb by no means. And he's always, and truth be told, he's not a liar. He's always been honest. People call him a liar. He's been honest on this show 100%. He's been brutally honest. And that's why I think people don't like him. But he's not a liar. He's not lied. He's been brutally honest. And he told her. So guess what? This is where he's at. And he's telling her again, I'm not 100% invested in you. I'm not 100% invested in the show. And I'm not going. It's her fault that she's not catching it.
But it's because then he comes behind and says, I'm pausing on plans for divorce now. So if you pausing on plans for divorce, then you need to do something.
He's pausing on plans of divorce. Read it between the lines. He's not lying again. I can't divorce you while the show is still going on. So I can't do it. I'm putting pause on it until I can officially divorce you. They can't divorce while they're in the middle of the show. So that's why he's putting pause on divorce. It's not about Paige. It's about the contract he signed saying he can't divorce her until the show is over.
So going forward, they irritate me so bad.
So he wanted to make it look like he was doing a good gesture. It's not a good gesture. It's that you can't divorce her because you're in the show.
Yeah. So Paige takes a hint from Dr. Viv, and she was like, basically, so let's make plans. You said you want to do this, let's make plans. And she sits down with a piece of paper, write the vision, make it plain. Mm-hmm. She gets a piece of paper, and she goes to the days. Okay, so Thursday. What are we going to do on Thursday? Friday, Saturday. And, he was like, let's go play basketball. She was like, play basketball? I don't know how to play basketball. Well, I can teach you how to play basketball. And we can go out to eat on this day. Then she says, well, when we can have dinner together. I can bring some food. I suggest, me bringing some food.
Wait, before that, he said, I can't do Sunday.
I'm about to get to that.
Oh, okay. That's what
he said he has plans. She says, what are we going to do on Sunday? He was like, yeah, I can't do Sunday. I can't do Sunday. There's a singer that has a song about he's just mine on the weekend. I think it's Summer Walker. She's like, he's just mine on the weekend. So apparently, he has a Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday love. He's got a Saturday love into Sunday. That's what he's got.
Maybe at church.
No.
Maybe he has a revival.
Church don't last all day.
Oh, they got evening service. Well, no, in the pandemic. Sorry.
Church don't last all day.
Well, in the pandemic, no evening service.
Trouble don't last always. Church don't last all day. But he's indisposed on Sunday. Anyway, so then he says, I could bring some food. And she was like, well, can we play cards? What we're going to do, just eat food and look at each other. I don't play cards. So that leads me to believe that Chris grew up old school. In some areas, according to your religious beliefs, like, you don't play cards. I grew up not playing cards, not really. I played Uno, but I didn't play no cards with no spades, clubs, hearts, diamonds. I didn't do it.
I played it all.
Yeah, he did. I didn't grow up like that. We couldn't play cards, you know what I'm saying? And so he was like, I'm not going to play no cards or whatever. She was like, well, what are we going to do? He was like, well, we can have Bible study. Okay. He said, because I think that's what's been missing in this. We've been missing God in this. So I want to include him in this. Yo, we've been missing God. You've been missing God, sir.
I'm a godly person. I'm a godly person. But they talking too much about God, and God ain't in this. God ain't got nothing to do with this. He didn't even stamp his approval. He ain't signed his name on the line. He ain't do nothing to this. This ain't got nothing to do with God. You want to have Bible study? That's fine. And this is from the former minister, because I'm going to get that in there. This is the former preacher, the former minister who comes from a church of family members, who are preachers and who are teachers.
Not a church of family members.
Excuse me. A family of
church people.
Church people.
Ministers,
Ministers.
Yeah.
Been around it. Was a minister. It's because he stopped being a minister because he couldn't make any money. Not my
Which lets you know that he was in it for the wrong reason.
Not my words, his.
He did say that.
And so when it time to Bible study, he said, well, I ain't had time to prepare.
Yeah, okay, yeah, so let's get to that. So he comes over. He's got Harold's Chicken, famous Harold's Chicken from Chicago. So our question was, did he fly to Chicago and get it and bring it back? We came to the conclusion. There's a Harold's in Atlanta. But it ain't the same, but okay. Yeah. So he brings over Harold's Chicken, and it's time for Bible study. And so they sit down. He asked her to bless the food. Okay.
He won't pray on camera.
So she blessed the food. What? No, she didn't bless the food. She prayed. I thought it was funny because she prayed and she didn't pray nothing about the food. They ate salmonella and everything because she didn't pray for the food to be blessed. She prayed for their interaction.
Which that's what she thought was the important thing. She wanted us to interact well.
But I need you to bless this food because I don't know where this food came from.
Again, I'm gonna go back to this. Chris didn't want to pray on camera.
He don't know how to pray.
He knows how to pray. He just didn't want to pray on camera.
He don't know how to pray. And so she was like, okay, so they start eating and they're not really talking. And he says, oh, we were supposed to do Bible study. And she says, yeah, we're supposed to do Bible study. So I'm interested to see what you've got prepared. And he was like, well, I didn't really have time to prepare anything because, my week's been so busy. And, I was looking forward to seeing what you had prepared.
If you're a preacher, you keep a message in your back pocket.
And he said, you know, I'm feeding us naturally. You know, I brought the food. I like for you to feed me spiritually. You lame-o, wacko. You're so whack, bruh.
No,
you know, that word have I hid in my heart. You ain't got nothing.
Hold on. We got to go back to Vegas. Rewind. Go back to Vegas. Because he said he's spiritually attracted to her. Remember? She prayed for him. When he was upset, she prayed for him and calmed him down. And so, again, he wants her to feed him because he enjoyed what he had in Vegas with her praying. I'm starting to understand Chris. You got to read between the lines. He's starting to do things that he used to. Okay, I'm not going to pray. I know she can pray. She got to work because she came out with the Bible with the cover. You know she meant business. It had the pink cover. No, she had some notes in it.
Not even that. She came out with a physical Bible. She didn't go to her Bible app. She is not playing with y'all.
She ain't go to no app. She ain't go to nothing. Paige was like, I need to see the pages flip. I only feel the anointing when the pages flip. So she had to go get a physical Bible.
Yeah, and she says she was thinking about when she was thinking about Bible study, which I'm good. You know, good thing, honey. I think the Lord led you to be prepared. Because he knew that Chris wasn't going to be prepared.
Again, Chris didn't want to do Bible study on camera neither.
She was led to prepare, so she was prepared. Or she just studies every day anyway. Anyway, so she said she was thinking about friendship and where they are with friendship, and how she went to the book of Isaiah chapter 55. And so she asked him to read it. He looked like he didn't want to read it.
He read it though.
But he did. He read it.
With no anointing, but he read it.
They at home. How he supposed to read it? And the word of the Lord says in Isaiah 55, his thoughts are higher than I. Hey! Okay. But he read the scripture, and, you know, they correlated it to friendship.
Yeah.
You know, I probably wouldn't have used that one, but, you know, they talked about, you know, being a friend, and she was like, you know, in order to be a friend to you, you know, we have to be a friend to God first and understand him first. And so what does our friendship look like to you? And how have we both demonstrated friendship? And she said, he didn't even really answer the question, but she said for her, she felt bad. She felt like she didn't demonstrate friendship to him besides the married stuff.
Yeah.
I didn't demonstrate friendship to you because when this baby thing came up, basically I shut down. I didn't know what to say. I didn't know what to do. I didn't want to offend you. I pulled back. And in me pulling back, I left you in, which he acknowledged to Dr. Viv and previously, that he kind of went into a depressive state. It's like overwhelming, and she wasn't there for him when it came to that.
And I agree with that because he messed up. And again, she could have been more, I don't want to the word supportive. But again, when you don't know what to ask, she started walking on those eggshells. How do I feel? Again, self-preservation. This is supposed to be a happy time for me. I'm married. I got what I wanted. I got a guy who I perceive to look good. I got a guy that I like. I got a guy that I can trust. And to come to find out on my second day of my first day of my honeymoon, or second day of me being married, that he has a baby. Yeah. She's hurt.
And the worst part is that after she explains how she feels bad and apologizes about the baby situation,
I got something to tell you.
He says, speaking of babies,
I got something to tell you.
So, you know, I got something to tell you.
It's never good when somebody said I got something to tell you.
6 years ago, Mercedes was in a really... Here we talking about Mercedes. What does it have to do with Bible study? Mercedes was in a really bad car accident, and it was so bad she shouldn't have walked away alive. The car was totaled, and so since then, she hasn't really been driving. She hasn't had a car. You know, she's been doing a lot of ride sharing. And, you know, which, by him saying that, the next sentence made no sense to me. Because Mercedes seemed like the type of person that has the means to do this for herself. But he felt the need to buy her a new Mercedes-Benz to make sure she had transportation and that she didn't have to ride share anymore.
A Mercedes for Mercedes. He got a Mercedes for Mercedes. I don't know why Paige ain't flipped that table over.
She looked like if I want to drive and if I want to get a car, I can get it. Like he just contradicted himself because he made it sound like this accident was so tragic that she was shell-shocked and didn't want to drive and didn't want a car. So she's been ride sharing. And so you buy her a car? So you're going to make me come out of my PTSD, come out of my trauma?
It wasn't about Mercedes.
Bro,
it wasn't about Mercedes at all. I want my baby that's getting ready to be born.
I'm bringing a king or a queen into this world. And shouldn't they ride in a chariot?
And shouldn't they ride in a chariot? It wasn't about Mercedes. It was about his baby. Your baby, you can't put the baby car seat in the ride share. You can't put the baby car seat in the Uber. You could, but you have to take it out. That's a hassle. So, not that I know. But he wanted, this was all about his child. It had nothing to do with Mercedes. It was all about, I'm bringing a child into the world, which is not here.
But I'm like Paige. That's fine. I'm like Paige. She questioned, you bought her a brand new Benz though? You bought her a brand new Benz though? A brand new Benz? Not a gently used Benz? Not a what they call it, a program car?
Not a rental car that used to be a car.
That's been kept up. You bought her a brand new, and of all things, a Benz. Not a Nissan Altima.
Not a Honda Accord.
Not a Honda Accord.
Not an SUV.
A brand new Benz? I'm with you, Mercedes, Lord. I'm with you, Paige. The heck? You could have bought her a car. You didn't have to, because brand new, dude, I know that's costing you a whop.
He got that married at first sight check.
And it's a Benz. That's costing you a whop. Dude.
That right there tells Paige he wants to be with who?
Mercedes.
He wants to be with Mercedes. Anytime let's make sense. Would you allow your husband to buy another woman a brand new car? I know one woman that would not let me buy another woman a brand new car, and I probably wouldn't be married. Again, her husband brought another woman a brand new Mercedes, and she ain't flipped that table over. She ain't say nothing. She continued eating her Hell's chicken.
Oh no, she did say something. She did. She said it. She said it like I talk. She said it with them eyes and that face. She was like, brand new Ben. For real though. For real. Chris, I ought to knock you out. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, dog.
Of all things, I promise you, just so she can have a car. Her PTSD, you know, she's traumatized. I'm not buying you, on that strength of that, I'm not buying you no brand new car. You wig out. Why you trying to, no, you freak out.
He bought a brand new car and put insurance in his name. And he's making the payments because I'm sure he ain't paid for straight cash.
I'm done with them.
All right, we done. Let's
go. So over Chris and Paige. Virginia and Eric. We open with them talking about, you know, she's on the computer doing some work. They talk about passwords. I'm sure they had to change it after they had this conversation. Because she said she uses her dog's name for all of her passwords, for every last one of her passwords. Do you use the same thing? And he says, well, I use my dog's name in some way, shape, or form in all my passwords.
Different variations.
So they have that in common. Please tell me you changed your passwords after you had a conversation. I couldn't believe they said that online. On TV. Anyway, so she says, you know, will we share passwords? Yes, I don't have no problem with that. You can look at my phone right now. And, you know, she was like, you know, you can look at mine too, but would you have a problem if I be texting more than 2 guys?
And he was like, is it Cole and other
guys? He was like, I mean, if you know, if your friends Lane and Cole, you don't have no problem with it. She was like, but if it's more guys than that I text. And he was like, well, that's not cool. She was like, but you know, I might be sending guys messages on Instagram or whatever. And he was like, oh, friends of yours or like exes, again, not cool. If it's an ex, what if you're on there liking his pics? Now, I think this was too far. She was like, he said if you on there liking your ex's pics, I don't really see no problem with that. Just liking it. Long as I ain't in the comments making kissy faces.
In his DMs.
Making kissy faces to his, or my comment, ooh, sexy. No, sir.
Yeah, I don't see a problem with
that's out of order.
I don't see a problem with liking your ex's pictures and stuff like that. I mean, I'm not, again, I'm secure. I'm not insecure. But we find out why. I mean, we'll find out. We'll find out why later. I'm not insecure, but he has some issues.
Yes.
That he has been, he has some issues in past relationships that he's been cheated on.
Yes.
So all this that we've talking about him being possessive, he want to make sure he's not cheated on again because he was hurt. Mm-hmm. He was hurt, and now he looks at all this stuff. Oh, I don't want you to sleep on the guy's couch. I don't want you to be out with other guys. I don't want you to be texting guys or liking them on Facebook.
He's traumatized too.
He's traumatized for the cheating that he's been through, and it doesn't work out.
Yeah.
And he doesn't want to happen to him again and again. Eric wants to stay married. Mm-hmm. This marriage, unless Virginia does something, Eric is not leaving this marriage.
Well, but he talks about some things that he's like, when Dr. Viv comes and they sit and talk. But I want to say this. Their problem is that they have a level of avoidance. They haven't been talking about the hard stuff because Virginia says that, we don't want to waste our time on arguments. We're getting to know each other. We want to spend time in the happy stuff.
Yeah.
So they haven't talked about the hard stuff. But Dr. Viv visit and she talks about their connection. They connect physically. Their physical touch is their thing. There's lots of physical attraction.
Yes.
They do have issues that they push to the side sometimes because they don't want to be in a hard place. Mm-hmm. And so Dr. Viv says, well, let's some uncomfortable topics. Let's approach some uncomfortable topics.
You have to in marriage. You gotta approach some uncomfortable conversation or have uncomfortable conversations. But it's rules of engagement and how you do it. So when at the end of the conversation, you guys come out whole.
And so they start with this. That basically Eric says, basically what he said is, I'm setting my ways. Mm-hmm. That's basically what he said. Oh, yeah. He says we have different views on country, on life. Just things in general. We're very different. We're very different from our military background. There are ways that I think things should go, what I think. So basically, it sounds like to me he's talking about his political views, his social views, and everything. He says, I'm fine with us being disagreeable, and I'm fine with the fact that I ain't gonna change. And she can believe what she believes. Mm-hmm. Then he says she's the one that has a problem, which I understand. I would have a problem too with somebody that is not flexible. And not even that I want you to come to my side, but to even understand and grasp my thinking.
Well, he said this was key. Eric looked up to his dad. So everything his dad has done, mm-hmm. Eric has done. His dad has been very conservative. Eric is very conservative. His dad has been a pilot. Eric is a pilot. See, he looks up to his dad even since he was a young age. This is what he wanted to do and what he needed to do in order to make himself feel whole. And so he's even comparing his marriage to the marriage of his parents. Mm-hmm. And so he wants what his parents have and not knowing that he has to grow to it. And that's what he's trying to get Virginia to be like his mama.
Yeah, because she says, he says she's very passionate about social issues, and he doesn't bother with it because it's hard. I think the hard that he's talking about is, how do I balance this with my beliefs and, that people have issues, how you're going to change people's minds, the social issues that we're going through. And she stresses that, we both came from the same backgrounds. My parents still have those same kind of ideals and ideas, but I'm just different. Me and my siblings, we different. Like, we are caught up, I don't want to say that, in the culture of this age. She's like, I've gotten away from that. The religiosity, whatever you want to call it. She was like, I'm gotten away from that. And she says that he said he doesn't know if they can compromise when it comes to those things, and she's got a problem with that. And Dr. Viv says, I encourage you, is this something where I'm going to be in, this is my truth, it's always going to be my truth, I'm never going to change my mind, but instead be more like, what can I gain by opening up my mind and being more accepting of views that aren't like mine? And he says, I know what I believe, and that's it.
That's it.
Set in my ways. I know what I believe. I'm not changing my mind.
He's not changing.
It ain't changing over here.
And again, you can't be that when we come to marriage.
You can't be that way when it comes to life. In 2021, you can't be that set, because guess what? There are people in this world that don't believe, don't live, don't act like you. You could be firm in your beliefs, but still be tolerant of other people's. I'm not going that way. Like, I'm not going down that rough, rugged road. I'm going to take the smooth path. But if you want to go the rough, rugged road, I wish you Godspeed and safe travel.
But that's kind of what he said, but he didn't say it in that right. He added the extra to it that I'm not changing. And so again, if you want to go march and protest, Virginia, go ahead. If you want to go and be in this movement, go ahead. If you want to go fight for this right or that right, go ahead.
I ain't coming out there.
But I'm not coming out there to support you. You know, again, this is where here's the age difference though. This is the age difference and the place where he's at, where it's confirming things to make things flow.
Mm-hmm.
You know.
Dr. Viv brings out to them that, you know, she asks, are you open to exposing your kids to both of you all's point of view and then letting them, you know, decide for themselves? And that's when we get into this conversation. He said, well, I don't even know if she want to have kids. Mm-hmm. She said she's middle of the road. She's half and half about it. I don't know. He says, you know, if she doesn't want to have kids, well, she says she wants to wait a while till she's like 30. He said, by the time you're 30, I'm going to be 38, almost 40. And I'm not waiting till I'm 40 to have kids. And I understand that.
I definitely understand that.
Don't nobody want to be the old daddy. I had an old daddy.
Is that your grandma?
Nobody wants to be the old man going to pick up your kids from elementary school. And by the time they graduate from high school, you 65.
Yeah.
Don't nobody want that.
No, nobody wants that.
Take it from me. And I love my father. God rest his soul. I love my daddy. But my parents had us older. So by the time I was 15, my daddy was what? My daddy was 60.
Yeah.
Okay.
But what Virginia says, which is key, she doesn't want kids because she doesn't want her kids to go through what she's went through, and she doesn't think her marriage is gonna. She wants her marriage to last, but if it doesn't last, she doesn't want her kids to experience everything she experienced living with her aunt, seeing mom and dad fight, living with that person, living with this person, and being shifted around, which goes into her part of her having fear about having kids. Again, Bobby and Danielle. Danielle didn't want any kids, but now she has 2.
But it was a different reason.
Yeah, it was a different reason.
Virginia doesn't want to have kids for a lot of reasons, for some of the same reasons that a lot of people in the world don't want to have kids. They don't want to bring them into this world the way it is, mm-hmm. and they have a fear of putting their kids through the same thing that they went through. Instead of learning and doing different, they're afraid that they're going to repeat the cycle. And so that's what she's afraid of. I don't want to have kids because I'm scared that I might perpetuate the same thing on them.
But Eric told her this. He said that will not happen, which goes again him giving us some comfort. I'm not gonna divorce you, and we have kids. We're gonna have kids, and he's a little bit more open to okay. Now after she explained it, he was a little bit more open to okay. We can get you to that point where we have kids. It's not a deal breaker right now.
Mm-hmm. So. And that's where they talked about actually the conversation about cheating and how he's scared to be cheated on, but. They made a point. Dr. Viv gave them the task to sit and have the hard conversations, but do it in small chunks. And so she had a timer, and we got 5 minutes that you could talk about whatever, uninterrupted. And then after your 5 minutes, then I will, talk about what you said, and then I'll share too. Yeah. So that's what they were doing. And then later, the last thing we see with them is, she has a little setup. The rose petals from last season come back. And they got the rose petals. We saw Vincent had it for him and Brianna. But she's got the rose petals. She's got a nice little setup, a tray of fruit and stuff. Mm-hmm. And he says, I like this, frequently. And she was like, how frequently? He was like, like every other day,
He was too much. He ain't even home every other day. Yeah. But he was playing. And I like the fact that he had conversation and they was able to talk. Eric, like, yo, y'all got to go.
Yeah, but she says she wants to make him happy, mm-hmm. and she's scared that it will fizzle out. She doesn't want it to fizzle out, and she says she's afraid that he's so into her right now that it's going to wane later, and mm-hmm. he won't be so into it later. But he says, I'ma still be into you. So why are you worrying about that now?
Why you worrying?
At day 24, day 25.
She's a runner. Again, goes back to last episode. Her relationships usually are over by this point. She's a runner. She doesn't see any of her relationships being successful because she doesn't have a reference. Her parents' relationships wasn't successful. Only successful relationship she knows is her sister relationship, and that's a homosexual relationship. So she doesn't have any reference. So she's like, am I gonna mess this up? Is it gonna be successful? Is it not gonna be successful? What am I gonna do? That's why she's having some doubt.
I know that was a lot, y'all. Sorry.
Nah.
But yeah,
Yo, leave your comments in the comment section below. Let us know what you thought about Paige and Chris. Let us know what you thought about Virginia and Eric. Let us know what you knew about. Let us know what you think about Jacob, Hayley, and Ryan and Claire. Please leave your comments in the comment section below.
And I think at this point we can even say in the comments, let us know who. Let's start speculating who you think is gonna make it at the end.
Yeah.
Who's gonna stay together?
As we almost to next week's episode is the 1 month anniversary. So as we end this part, who do you think is going to make it until the end? Leave a comment in the comment section below. Make sure you hit the subscribe button. Make sure you hit that bell notification so anytime that we come on, you'll get notified. And guess what? See you next week.
Bye.
Bye.